Howdy, Brian Vikings. We're here to learn about titrations. So, a titration is cool because we are going to have a volume in a burette, and that's going to be a known concentration. This is known as the titrant. And then here, we'll have a volume in here, but this is going to have an unknown concentration. In the case of your next lab, that's going to be a concentration of vinegar. In the same case of your next lab, it's going to be sodium hydroxide that's going to be in here. Now you want to have kind of similar, if you're guessing that this is about 0.1 molar in here, you probably want to have 0.1 molar in here, right? You don't want something that has huge changes in molarities, because that could take really long or really fast. So now what's going to happen here is you are going to first open the stopcock right here. This is the stopcock. You're going to open it, and you are just going to rinse out the burette at least 2 or 3 times, okay? Because we want to make sure everything is good. And so I'll go ahead and let that one go. And while I'm talking, I'll just tell you that your lab comes in 2 parts. Your next lab comes in 2 parts. The first part is to standardize the solution. We're going to standardize this 0.1 molar NaOH. That's because 0.1 molar is not accurate or precise. We're not sure about the accuracy. So we're going to figure out the accuracy of this solution, because this is how we're going to figure stuff out. This will be super accurate because this is potassium hydrogen phthalate, or potassium bithalate, also known as KHP. Now, the real fun thing about that is that KHP does not absorb water out of the air, and it is a very reliable concentration. The purity is really good. So you can count on this one having a correct or accurate molar volume, or accurate molar concentration at least. So this will actually act as an acid. So we're going to do a titration first with a standard solution, one that we know the concentration here, and then we'll figure out the concentration here in part 1. Then part 2, we will use the same stuff that's in here, but then we will figure out an unknown concentration in here. I hope that made sense. So the first part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of calculations, because I'm going to use 0.5 grams of KHP. I do know that. So why don't I go get that right now? Why don't you come join me? So I put, it's a little bit of white powder that's in there. That's really all it is, but if you check it out, it says 0.5624 grams. Well, that's not exactly 0.5 grams, Mr. Russell. Well, it does not matter. Okay, I will just have to take the calculations in here. I will show you the calculations I do in a second. Okay, we're back. So I've got the KHP in here, and I'll go ahead and add it to my Erlenmeyer flask. Yeah, it's not dissolving all the way, but that's all right. Now, I'm just adding water right now. Okay. And I'm also doing what we call a quantitative transfer, because there may have been some KHP still left in this cup. So I'm going to spray some water in it, all around the edges, really get that going, and then pour it into here. Okay, I'll do that 3 times. So that's the easiest way to make sure you're getting all of that KHP, and accounting for all of the stuff that you weighed up and measured at the beginning. Now, pop quiz. Does it matter how much water I add? No, it does not. Why? Water breaks down into H plus and OH minus, right? Okay. So that must mean that water is an acid and a base, right? We've talked about that before. It's an amphoteric. which means that it's not going to have an effect on the pH of this, right? It's going to be neutral. So it does not matter how much water I add. Now, we want to just add some into here. Okay, if you add more water, it's no big deal. Now, I don't like stirring, and stirring is boring for losers. So what I do is, I'm going to get 50 milliliters in here, about 50. So I got this magnetic stir, which is very nice. That's why it's sitting on this thing. So I will drop it in here, and I will let it start spinning. Okay? Very nice. There it goes. Off goes the analyte. Now what else I'm going to do is, I forgot one step. I forgot to add the titrant into here. So give me a sec. So I'm back, and I'm going to add the titrant into here. Now, it's always a good idea to have a little beaker as a waste beaker, just to catch liquids that fall out, because that's what I'm going to do right here. If you can't see, there's actually a little bit of water that's stuck at the bottom here, so that might affect how I add my concentration, and even if I open the stopcock, it won't come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the stopcock open, and I'm with the beaker underneath, double check that, and I'm going to use a funnel and add the titrant here, and it's coming out. So I'm going to close the stopcock so it doesn't come out anymore, and actually I'm going to let a little bit run out, okay, just to kind of clear everything that's in this part out, and now we all have base in here, or we all have titrant. So I'm going to fill it up, but I'm not going to fill it all the way to the 0. I got it up there, and it's got about 2 milliliters to spare. It does not have to be exactly 0. It's going to be okay. I also labeled the funnel as the base, so that way whenever I use the acid, I don't use the base funnel and, you know, contaminate my stuff. So that's also a good thing to do when you're labeling stuff. So check it out. Now, get this beaker out of here. This is dissolved, ready to go. Get that out of here so you can see this. Now, I'm going to add my indicator, and the proper amount is enough. A few drops, 5 to 10 drops is fine. Okay. And you'll notice that it did not change color. Well, that's because in an acid, phenolphthalein is clear, or colorless. Sorry, colorless. So we're ready to start. Let me show you what I did. You know how we took 0.5621 grams of KHP. We have our reaction up here, KHP, potassium hydrogen phthalate, or this formula, and it reacts with sodium hydroxide. It makes water, and it makes NACP, sodium potassium phthalate, which is that. Okay. Now there's a error on your lab. The equation is not balanced. It's because that's supposed to be a K. All right. So, but that works now. So the key here is that the KHP and the sodium hydroxide were a 1-to-1 ratio. So in that, you have your mass, and then you have your molar mass right here, and then you have your mole ratio, and then you have the expected molarity of the sodium hydroxide. Now, knowing that, we can predict how many milliliters we should be adding. Alright, so this is approximately how much. So I'm going to be adding kind of a lot, 27.52 milliliters. Well, what I'll first do is not start right now. I'm going to look at my reading, get eye level with it, and I'm going to look at, it is, sometimes a piece of paper can help. Ooh, I need a black background. There we go. .05. Yeah. 2.05. That's my initial. Should have 2 decimal places because the smallest increment is 1 decimal place. Okay, so I'm going to start adding stuff. And according to my calculations, I should be adding pretty much up to at least 22 before I should slow down. So this is what you could do, is you just add slowly. If it's stirring right now, you can turn it. I would never turn it all the way on. That's probably not a good idea. Turn it so that it's flowing fully. Oh man. Pause every now and then to let the solution stir, react. I could see a little bit of pink going on. Hopefully that will help you see better. You'll notice that not much changes as you add it, but as you get close, you'll start to see it turn real pink, and it'll go real fast, like super fast. It'll just take like a drop to shift it all the way pink. So when you start getting close, this is when you want to turn it and make it dropwise, where it's just adding drops. If you can see it, it is. Let me pull it up so you maybe can see that. It is just going at a dropwise rate. Now I'm keeping my hand on it, ready to go, ready to shut it off. Okay, so we are almost there. We are like 1 or 2 drops away. So you'll notice it's all pink. It's all clear right now. Now watch what happens when I add 1 drop. So you see it's kind of pink. I can tell it's kind of pink. That is pretty much close. Oh, dang. I think I added too much. I might get lucky. Okay, it is still staying like pink-ish. It is not fully pink yet, so that's actually probably right where I want to be. I'm going to write down this volume as 35.49. Now I'm going to, just to make sure, I just wrote it down just to be sure. But if I keep going, now it's really pink. Now it's real pink. If you'll see that. So it just took like 2 or 3 more drops, and you can go way past it. Okay? So yeah, that took 0.2 of a milliliter. So I'm going to go with that first one. but I'll show you what it looks like if you go past it. That's past it. You are now totally in the basic solution. Okay? You have more base than you have acid now. So you have added too much, and you've passed your end point, and you've also passed your equivalence point. So you saw the indicator change color. That is called the end point. Okay? Now the equivalence point is also known as the stoichiometric point. And this is the key here. The equivalence point is where if you were adding pH and you had volume, that's what it would look like. Okay? You would see this very, very sharp increase in pH. The equivalence point is that point right in the middle. Equivalence point. And that is where the moles of acid equals the moles of your base. Okay? That point right there. That is the equivalence point. So, with this indicator, the equivalence point and the end point are very close together, so we're just going off of the end point. Alright? That's going to be how you calculate that. So your initial volume was 2.05 and your final volume was 35.49. Subtract the two and you will find the volume of NaOH needed. Okay? Then you will be able to calculate the molarity of this. You know the volume of what it took. You know how much KHP was in here. So you'd be able to stoichiometrically figure out the number of moles that I added as well. The number of moles of NaOH. That's what we want to know, and that's how we'll find out the concentration of, where'd it go? This stock solution. Okay? So that is how a titration works. We'll do titration calculations in the next video, but that is it. I want y'all to have a great day.